Hey, welcome back. Today we're checking out Synchrony, episode 19 of season 4. Debuting April 13th, 1997, Synchrony follows our agents as they investigate an old man who's freezing bodies with a chemical compound that shouldn't even exist. The episode begins, and alright, who was supposed to be watching Grandpa? You got a couple researchers, Jason and Lucas, that are arguing over something when the old man approaches them to give them a warning.
I need to talk to you.
Excuses, please.
That street is dangerous.
It's got a death curse.
Anytime an old crazy man gives you a warning, you should really listen. The old guy is really adamant that something terrible is about to happen to Lucas, but Lucas doesn't want to hear any of it.
What's the problem here? This old guy is harassing me.
This old guy's harassing me. He sounds like such a crybaby. Aw, did the old man knock you over? What a dork. The old man goes on about Lucas dying at 11:46 and warns Jason not to let him cross the street because of a bus. I like how it's clearly raining in some shots, yet these guys are perfectly dry. The episode suddenly turns into Final Destination when Jason notices the bus and the time. Show anyone younger than 30 this shot, and they won't have any idea what it means. Just as the old man predicted, Lucas does get hit by the bus, but it really was his own damn fault. If he wasn't so clumsy, he may have lived. We're only 4 minutes in, and I need to take a break. My inner pendulum can only handle so much Scully. Anyways, Jason is being questioned because the bus driver claims Lucas was pushed in front of the bus, and the campus security did see both men arguing before the death occurred, so it's not looking good for Jason. The reason why the agents were called in, however, is because of the mysterious old man, who seemed to know when and exactly how Lucas would die, which I guess could be an X-file.
What was he wearing, a long black robe and carrying a scythe?
Well, not when campus security picked him up.
This is no time for jokes, Scully. People are dying. It looks like the agents might have their first lead though, because the campus security guard was found dead. Are we sure it was an old man that killed him? I'm starting to get Buffy the Vampire Slayer PTSD.
Police also found an empty gin bottle under the driver's seat. You'd assume he passed out and froze to death.
Wait, so the cops think the security guard got drunk and then passed out and froze to death? Are the cops here morons? Something very strange is going on though, because there's a weird puncture wound in the man's ear, and his body temperature appears to be getting even colder. The only course of action now is to speak to Jason. Mulder meets with the man and tells him all about Frosty the Snowman, which sort of sets Jason off, because it might have something to do with his research.
Cryobiology. I study the effects of freezing temperatures on biological systems.
Well shit, it's not looking good for Jason now. Might as well throw up a neon sign saying guilty. Things get even worse when Scully calls up Mulder and tells him they've found some of Jason's fingerprints on the guard and his car, despite Jason never coming into contact with either. So just what the hell is going on? Meanwhile, a Dr. Yonichi is trying to check into his hotel room, but like all good hotels, they lost his reservation. Luckily, or I guess in this case, unluckily, the old man arrives and has a room all ready for him, claiming he works with Jason, which we all know is a big fat lie. The old man then thanks him for discovering some breakthrough in his research, and Dr. Yonichi is like, what the f*** are you talking about? I'm sure there are much easier ways of taking someone out than freezing them to death. You're just leaving a trail of breadcrumbs at this point. Let's just hope Dr. Yonichi doesn't come back and die for a third time. At the scene of the crime, Scully notices another little prick. And no, it's not Krychek. It's the mark on Yonichi's hand where he was injected with something. Scully found some strange chemical compound around the wound, and the same compound around the security guard's wound. The agents bring their findings to Jason's girlfriend Lisa, who's also working on the research, and it turns out the compound is a rapid freezing agent, except there's one little problem.
This compound, has Jason actually tested it yet? He hasn't tested it yet because it doesn't exist.
She must be lying, right? I mean, we've seen it in action. The agents explain to Lisa that they found her little compound, even though she claims the technology to create it is still 5 to 10 years away. They also tell her about Dr. Yonichi, who might actually still be alive. Hurry! Get this man in a tub of orange juice!
This isn't gonna work.
Why not?
His body temperature was 8 degrees. The lowest reported body temperature ever survived by a human being was 70.
Way to be a party pooper, Scully. I don't know why she's such a downer. If he's already dead, then where's the harm in trying to bring him back? They do actually manage to bring him back, which makes Scully look kinda stupid. Except maybe they should have listened, because his temperature starts to rise until he straight up bursts into flames. Oh god, I hope this doesn't mean Phoebe's gonna return. Lisa decides she needs to find some answers as to what's going on, so she takes a quick bus ride to find Jason. Except she's being followed by the creepy old guy. Also, she gets on one bus and gets off on a completely different one. Continuity, people. And yes, I know transfers exist. I don't trust any building that has lion statues out front. They tend to be haunted.
You killed Lucas Manon and Dr. Yonichi.
And I can kill you.
Let go of me.
He's an old man, just push him over. The old guy decides not to kill her, but he has quite the grip strength. A random cop stops by to tell the agents they may have the old man's location. But if the cops know where he is, can't they just go grab him before he leaves? Anyways, the agents check out the lead and find a picture of Dr. Yonichi with Lisa and Jason. Which is strange because they haven't even met Dr. Yonichi yet. If you believe their stories anyways.
Okay, so this photo that was never taken, when was it never taken?
At least 5 years in the future, when they first synthesized the freezing compound successfully.
Alright, so we're dealing with time travel.
From when, may be the real question.
You're seriously suggesting that this old man is back from the future?
Do you think they wrote this entire episode so Scully could reference the movie Back to the Future? Obviously, Scully believes in the time travel theory, but that skeptical Mulder needs a bit more convincing.
Strike that. Reverse it.
If they just waited 5 more minutes, they would have found the old guy. Instead, Lisa does, and I think she knows what's going on.
Jason?
So, the old guy is, and always has been, Jason. That's quite the twist. I bet you didn't see that one coming. She probably shouldn't get so close to him though, unless she wants to become a human popsicle too. See, I tried to warn her. Mulder bails Jason out so he can inform him about what just happened to Lisa, and that the old man is himself from the future. What I would like to know is how did they find Lisa so quickly? She just became frozen inside future Jason's apartment. The agents were already there, so why would they feel the need to go back so soon? Jason doesn't exactly believe what's going on, but photos don't lie. Well, except for that one time Mulder was fooled with a badly photoshopped photo of a UFO. When they get to Jason's lab, it looks as if future Jason is already there waiting. Mulder goes off to find him and he sends current day Jason to see how Lisa is doing with Scully. Again, how did they find her so quickly? And don't they remember what happened last time they tried this?
All right, let's disconnect and get her back in right away.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Hurry, put her back in the orange juice. That badge could be fake. This guy is way too trusting.
It's Dr. Nicholas's files. They're totally whacked.
What do you mean whacked?
Whoa, dude, his files are totally whacked, man. So while Lisa has seemingly stabilized, Jason has wandered off on his own, and now his files are all gone. He was supposed to go see Scully, but no one listens. Current day Jason confronts future Jason, and I'm wondering, does time travel cause your eye color to change?
A world without history. Without hope.
Mulder finds the men and tells both Jasons that Lisa survived. Future Jason decides to grab present day Jason, and the two men burst into flames. Although Mulder was just breaking through the window with a fire extinguisher, so I don't know why he doesn't at least try to put the fire out. Maybe he was just too afraid to react. I know Lisa almost died, but she looks like hell. So much for future Jason trying to stop this compound from ever being discovered, because only a short time later, Lisa discovers it anyways. So all of this was just a big waste of time. Synchrony is a fine time travel story. You can't really think about it too hard because the logic will start to fall apart. But that seems to be the case with just about any kind of time travel story. At some point, you just have to accept the premise and go along with it. It's fairly standard X-Files and fairly standard time travel. Nothing really stands out as being amazing to me, but it's a decent little episode. After completing the script for Unrequited, Chris Carter assigned Howard Gordon to develop a new episode, Synchrony, with David Greenwalt, who had recently joined the X-Files as a producer. David had originally been offered a writing position on the X-Files, but turned it down in favor of working on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The two writers met up to begin their work, but quickly found themselves struggling to come up with a compelling plot. They briefly considered a storyline about an inmate escaping prison by swapping bodies with another man, but Gordon felt it was too much like previous episodes he had worked on, namely Lazarus and Born Again, so they quickly scrapped the idea. During their brainstorming sessions, Gordon and Greenwalt stumbled upon an article in Scientific American called The Quantum Physics of Time Travel that discussed the concept, specifically the idea of closed timeline curves. The article suggested that while classic physics forbids time travel, quantum physics, on the other hand, could theoretically allow for the existence of shortcuts through space and time, allowing someone to travel back and forth between the past, present, and the future. Intrigued by this idea, Gordon and Greenwalt decided to base their episode around the concept of time travel, hoping to make the episode feel like it could happen scientifically, but also adding an emotional element with Jason and his girlfriend. Howard Gordon was particularly inspired by the notion of a time traveler who turns out to be you, and he began to shape the antagonist as a regretful scientist. This inspiration grew from hearing the story of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the physicist behind the atomic bomb, who famously confronted President Harry Truman over the use of the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This led to Howard Gordon wondering, what if Oppenheimer could go back to the past and uninvent the bomb? This question led them to explore the consequences of knowing the future.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Gordon noted that life is about the unknown, and the idea of knowing what lies ahead would introduce a new set of horrors that could not be ignored.
A world without history, without hope.
Writing the script proved to be extremely challenging. Over the course of a week, Gordon and Greenwalt worked long days, sometimes lasting over 15 hours. And this is with help from story editor Ken Horton, co-executive producer Frank Spotnitz, and writer John Sheban. Despite their best efforts, the script was still being rewritten just days before filming was scheduled to begin. Gordon found himself scrambling to tighten up the story, even eliminating two key characters, one of whom was a wheelchair-bound scientist inspired by Stephen Hawking, because he felt they didn't serve the plot. This revision significantly streamlined the story. The pressure of the project became so intense that Gordon nearly considered abandoning the script entirely. As the filming date approached, the team continued to refine the script, with some scenes being written even during the filming process, to help clarify plot points for the audience. Despite all the challenges, Howard Gordon later reflected, "In the end, I think it worked, but it's getting there that's really difficult." The experience was so taxing that he swore off writing about time travel ever again. Interestingly, early on in the X-Files run, Chris Carter had previously stated that he would never write an episode about time travel, due to how difficult a story like that would be. But I guess that stance didn't last very long because, well, here we are. Synchrony has been compared by Star Trek fans to the original series episode City on the Edge of Forever, which has Kirk forced to make a choice between a woman he loves or the future of the world. I've never seen the episode, but it seems to be very highly regarded and considered to be one of the best, if not the best episode in the series history, so I might have to check it out sometime. Synchrony currently sits at 7.7 on IMDb. I think it's fairly average X-Files, so a 6 or a 7 is fitting. This is comfort food X-Files. You know you're not getting anything fancy, but it still fills you up. Next up is one of my all-time favorite episodes in the entire series, when women in a small town all give birth to babies with a tail, and the culprit of it all may be a schlubby-looking guy who can shapeshift. In the episode, Small Potatoes. So what do you think of Synchrony? Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you're keeping warm in this chilly fall season, and stay spooky.
Sunday. Have you ever seen a body in such an advanced hypothermic state?
Mulder, this man's an icicle.
He has the power.
I came here to kill you.
To make your blood run cold.
Capable of killing a man by flash freezing him.
A brand new X-Files. Sunday on Fox. Parental discretion advised.